Ahoj, krásný dobrý den. Today's lesson is going to be very practical. I'm going to talk about something that my students often forget and all learners forget because it's something a little illogical, and that is what happens when we use the genitive form in the subject. For those of you who are not friends with grammar, I'm going to explain it to you very easily. My name is Zuzka and today you will learn how to properly use the form of the verb in Czech sentences. Jdeme na to. Dobrý den, vítejte na mém kanále Czech by Zuzka, kde vám pomocí angličtiny vysvětluju českou gramatiku. Take a look at this sentence. V textu jsou 3 chyby. There are 3 mistakes in the text. V textu jsou 3 chyby. Here the subject is 3 chyby, 3 mistakes. 3 mistakes are in the text. It all makes sense, right? Now, what about this one? This sentence says, v textu je 5 chyb. V textu je 5 chyb, that means there are 5 mistakes in the text. What changed? Besides 5 chyb, we have a different number, different form, but also the verb. What happened to the verb? First of all, 5 chyb, meaning 5 mistakes, that is the subject. 5 chyb. Now, why je, meaning is? Why do we say there is 5 mistakes in the text? Why don't we say it here? Or why don't we say jsou 5 chyb? We use this form, that is the singular form, is, like it is, because of this little detail. Big detail. Chyb is genitive plural. Genitive plural because of this key word, pět. Pět, you might know that when you count in Czech and you get to number 5 and more, then you use this genitive plural form. 1 chyba, 2 chyby, 3 chyby, 4 chyby, 5 chyb, 6 chyb. So this is one part. 5 chyb. We use this special form, the genitive plural, because of the keyword pět. Pět just has this form. And the verb to be refers to the subject. In this case, we could say that the main leader in this subject is pět, 5. Like, imagine it's like number 5. Number 5 is. So that's why we would use je pět. And this is as if we said 5 of mistakes. So 5 of mistakes is in the text. Makes sense? Whereas here, 3 chyby, that is plural, that's classic plural. When we talk about cases, this would be nominative plural. Chyby, 3 chyby. And the verb has to agree, the predicate has to agree with the subject. So it is fine here. Jsou 3 chyby. Now let's go to the second sentence again. This is not only about number 5. If you have already seen this genitive case, which is quite confusing because it appears everywhere, it has lots of keywords. Besides lots of prepositions, there are these quantifiers, one of those keywords that need the genitive. When we can count the noun, then we would use genitive plural. When it's uncountable, then we use quantifiers such as hodně or málo. Hodně means a lot, many, or on the contrary, málo, a few or little. Well, these can be used for countable nouns as well. So, for example, if we had this same sentence and instead of pět we said v textu je hodně chyb, it's the same thing. Hodně chyb, because hodně is one of those keywords for the genitive case. And then hodně, although means a lot, imagine it's something like plentiful. The plentiful is. So that's why we also have to have this singular form. Málo, the small amount, the little. So málo je, to málo. So the verb is also in the singular form. There are many more keywords. For example, pár, which means pair or a couple. V textu je pár chyb. There are a couple of mistakes. It's the same thing. I also want to bring something else into your attention. This is present tense. So, yeah. What happens if we use the past tense? For example, there were 3 mistakes in the text. Here it would be byly, because we say byly, ty chyby byly. The mistakes were, no problem. And what about here? There were 5 mistakes, or there were a lot of mistakes in the text. What do we say? Do we say byla? Or do we say byl? Or what? We say bylo. Oh, it's neuter in this case. Bylo. Bylo, because like I said, hodně and málo, they would be like the neuter form, like it. 5 of mistakes. This might not be the most correct grammar analysis, but I'm trying to help you understand, or rather memorize, why we use bylo here in neuter form. V textu bylo 5 chyb. V textu bylo hodně chyb. V textu bylo málo chyb. If you say byl, it's wrong, because we don't have any masculine subject here. If we say byla, because you think, oh, it's chyba, that's also wrong, because it doesn't agree with this subject. And there's more. Let's see more examples. One important thing is to realize that the verb is affected when this genitive form is in the subject. This first sentence is very similar to those previous 2 sentences. Bylo tam hodně lidí. Hodně lidí, this is a very common collocation, common phrase. Hodně lidí, a lot of people. A lot of people were there. There were a lot of people. Bylo tam hodně lidí. You notice we have bylo. This is just like those mistakes. When I talked about 5 mistakes, or hodně chyb. Hodně lidí is the same thing because of the word hodně. Hodně is the key word for genitive. So lidí is the plural genitive. We are saying literally plenty of people. That's why the verb will be in this form, singular and neuter. Bylo. Tam hodně lidí. Because this is the subject. Hodně lidí tam bylo. Hodně bylo. Now let's see a different sentence. Viděla jsem tam hodně lidí. We also have hodně lidí here, right? Lidí is the genitive plural because of the keyword hodně. A lot of people. However, what is the subject in this sentence? I saw a lot of people there. Viděla jsem tam hodně lidí. Here the subject is actually not expressed, but it's referring to the verb, and it's já. Já jsem tam viděla hodně lidí. The verb corresponds to the subject, which in this case is já. Já jsem viděla. Here we don't care that there is a genitive somewhere because the subject is já. Já jsem viděla. In this case, hodně lidí is the object of the sentence. So these two are different. Hodně lidí is the subject here. Who was there? A lot of people. Kdo tam byl? Hodně lidí. Kdo viděl hodně lidí? Já. Who saw a lot of people? Me. And what about this one? Vidělo to hodně lidí. This means a lot of people have seen it. A lot of people saw it. Vidělo to hodně lidí. You see the verb, the predicate is vidělo. It's also singular and neuter. Vidělo. It saw. Vidělo. So what's the subject here? Hodně lidí as well. Hodně lidí. The same rule. Lidí is the genitive plural because of the keyword hodně. A lot of people saw it. And you see it's the same thing because hodně would need a neuter form of verb. Vidělo to hodně lidí, bylo tam hodně lidí. If you replace the word hodně by number 5 and more, or another keyword that requires the genitive case, such as málo, pár, několik, several, it's still the same case. Bylo tam několik lidí. Vidělo to několik lidí. I want to show you more examples so you get this idea right with very similar context. We have people again, and then we're going to say how many people there were. Byly tam davy lidí. Davy lidí. Crowds of people. Davy lidí. This is the subject. Davy lidí. Crowds of people. Lidí is also in the genitive case, genitive plural. Crowds of people. Davy lidí. And the verb, guess what, is in the plural form here. Well, because davy is crowds. Crowds where? Crowds of people were there. So although davy lidí is the subject, it still points to this main core. Davy, crowds. Crowds where? Davy byly. Even if we replaced davy by tisíce. Tisíce means thousands. Tisíce lidí, the same thing. Thousands of people were there. Byly tam tisíce lidí. Byly tam davy lidí. That's because these are in plural. If we say there was only 1,000 people, 1,000 people, you see there is something different here. Tisíc, koho čeho, lidí, the same thing. This is the genitive form. And we say byl tam tisíc lidí because we have tisíc byl. 1,000 was. So you see the difference. Tisíce byly, tisíc byl. And the last one. Byla tam spousta lidí. The key word spousta is feminine. It can be a noun as well. It also means something like plenty. And it's a noun actually. Hodně is not a noun, but like we said, we can imagine that it has a neuter gender. Spousta is a noun. That means it also has cases. That's why you can sometimes see spoustu in accusative and spousta in nominative. But that's not my point here. I want to show you that spousta is feminine. The plenty of people was there. Byla. Because of spousta, that's feminine, that would be byla. The point of this video is not to remember all these words and what are their genders, spousta feminine and tisíc masculine, although it's good to know. But if you are a beginner and you don't want to be overwhelmed remembering these words and their genders, I want you to get used to the idea that you have to find what is the subject of the sentence, what it refers to, and then that the verb has to be in agreement with it. Or more like have an idea why the verb would change even though the context is so similar. That's because of the grammar. You can ignore the grammar, it's okay. I like grammar because it helps me understand, and I know that it helps a lot of you as well. But you can also forget about it and just learn the sentences as they are, and then maybe sometime in the future you will be wondering why this is different, and then you can watch this video again. Jdeme dál. Let's move on. We have seen several examples with the verb to be. I want to show you different sentences now with the verb zbýt, which is to remain. Do you know the word chlebíček? Chlebíček is this open sandwich that Czech people love. And after these Christmas and the end of the year festivities, everybody will be full of these chlebíčky. Zbylo ještě pár chlebíčků. That would be the genitive plural chlebíčků. Chlebíček, chlebíčků. That's because of this keyword pár chlebíčků, 5 chlebíčků nebo 20 chlebíčků. So this sentence wants to say there's still a couple or 5 or 20 open sandwiches left. Zbylo. Zbylo ještě pár chlebíčků. There is still a couple of open sandwiches left. A weird thing is that zbylo, although it's in the past tense, is usually translated in present in English. There is left, but it's past tense. Zbylo. Now you know it's neuter form because of this keyword pár, 5, 20. They don't have a specific gender, but we refer to them as it still when they're in the subject form. Zbylo pár chlebíčků, zbylo 5 chlebíčků, zbylo 20 chlebíčků. There were 5 chlebíček left, there were 20 chlebíček left. Come on, eat some open sandwiches. Dejte si ještě chlebíčky, zbylo ještě 20 chlebíčků. V krabici zbylo trochu mléka. There is a little bit of milk left in the box, in the carton. Trochu mléka. You can notice mléka is genitive singular, but it's the same thing. So this is genitive singular. Trochu mléka, because it's uncountable. A little bit of milk was left in the box, or is left. V krabici zbylo trochu mléka. V ledničce zbylo dost salátu pro 2. Salát. For example, the famous potato salad that the Czechs make for Christmas. In the fridge, There is enough salad left for 2. V ledničce zbylo dost salátu pro 2. Dost salátu, also genitive singular. It's uncountable, but because of the word dost, the key word, dost salátu. Enough salad. Dost zbylo. And of course, if you remove these keywords, then there is no need for the genitive singular or plural. You would use the nominative, and also this would change. The form of this verb would change. By the way, if you're not sure how to use this verb, I have a video that I made more than a few months ago. This one. And if you are not sure how to use the genitive at all, then of course you can check my study tables or just in case, where you will see all these forms. This is the main book of just in case, and here's where you can learn all about the genitive case and all about the keywords. I didn't provide as many examples on purpose because the rest will be practiced here with these 2 exercises. We're gonna do 2 exercises. The first one is like this. You're going to change it into the past tense. That's all, nothing else. Just change the verb and put it in the past tense. Just like the example, jsou tam tisíce lidí, and you change jsou to byly. Byly tam tisíce lidí. Pause the video if you want some time to work on this. And let's check the exercise right now. Číslo 1. Zbude ještě 20 lístků. Zbylo ještě 20 lístků. Zbylo. Číslo 2. Odejde 10 zaměstnanců. Odešlo 10 zaměstnanců. Číslo 3. Hodně lidí tuhle scénu nepochopí. Hodně lidí tuhle scénu nepochopilo. Because of hodně. Číslo 4. Kolik peněz se dneska vydělá? Kolik peněz se dneska vydělalo? A číslo 5. Na náměstí je několik policejních aut. Na náměstí bylo několik policejních aut. Okay, so far so good, right? The verb was in the singular form and in the neuter gender. Now, time for exercise 2. This might be a little bit more challenging. You are going to change these sentences and use quantifiers. Make the change according to the example. For example, we have zbyly ještě chlebíčky, and you will use the quantifier that's in the parentheses. Zbylo ještě pár chlebíčků. So you use pár, and then you have to use chlebíčků, change chlebíčky to chlebíčků. Keep in mind that sometimes the genitive case will be in the singular form if the word is uncountable, and in plural when it's countable. Pause the video if you want some time, and we are going to check it at this moment. Číslo 1. V autě je místo pro všechny. V autě je dost místa pro všechny. V autě je dost místa pro všechny. Číslo 2. Bude na to čas? Bude na to dost času? Číslo 3. Přišli i kamarádi. Přišlo i pár kamarádů. So here you see we changed the verb here because we have past tense. The previous 2 sentences were easy because there you didn't have to deal with the gender, but here you do. Přišlo. Číslo 4. Zbyla mi 100, as in 100 bill. Zbyla mi 100, and we want to say 500s. Zbylo mi 500. 500. 100 is an informal way of saying 100 bill. 500. But the important thing is zbylo mi 500. A číslo 5. Vystoupení se zúčastnili moji studenti. That's a tough one. Vystoupení se zúčastnilo hodně mých studentů. We have to use mých studentů both in the genitive plural. Okay, that's all from me. Is this something that you struggled with, or is it something that you knew about? I want to thank you for watching, and I also want to appreciate my students' help because they always ask wonderful questions, and all these questions also inspired me to make these videos. Mějte se krásně a uvidíme se za týden. Ciao!